What if I told you that managing your blood sugar wasn't about all the things you have to give up? What if it's actually about all the delicious, powerful foods you can add to your plate? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. 10 science-backed foods that help you do just that. And you know what? A lot of them are probably in your kitchen already.
So let's just start with this number, because it's huge. A staggering 80% of people with diabetes really struggle with those wild blood sugar spikes after a meal. I mean, if you've ever eaten something you thought was healthy, only to watch your glucose numbers go on a total roller coaster ride, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common frustration.
But here's where we're going to flip the script. Instead of just staring at a long list of foods you can't have, what if we built our entire strategy around all the amazing things you can add? We're talking about foods that actively work with your body to keep your glucose levels nice and steady. That's the mission today.
Okay, so how do these magical foods actually work? It really all boils down to one simple idea, something I like to call the food speed limit. Once you get this, you'll understand exactly why some foods cause a glucose traffic jam in your body, while others create this smooth, steady flow of energy.
And the tool we use to measure that speed limit is called the glycemic index, or GI for short. Just think of it like a speedometer for your food. It's a simple scale from 0 to 100 that tells you how fast a food is going to raise your blood sugar. And the goal? It's pretty simple. You want to stay in the low GI lane. So here's the difference in a nutshell. Low GI foods on the left are like your car just cruising down the highway at a steady, reliable speed. They release glucose slowly, which gives you that nice, sustained energy. High GI foods, on the other hand, are like a drag racer slamming on the gas. You get this massive, fast spike in glucose, which, you guessed it, is always followed by that awful energy crash. All right, time for the main event. Let's get into the 10 superfoods that basically act like traffic cops for your bloodstream. These are the foods that are going to help keep everything flowing smoothly and prevent any pileups. First up, we've got leafy greens like spinach and kale. I mean, with a GI of just 15, these are total nutritional powerhouses. They're packed with fiber and magnesium, which helps your body use insulin way more efficiently. And here's a game-changing tip for you. Try eating your salad or your greens before the rest of your meal. It actually creates this fiber buffer in your stomach that slows down how quickly the other carbs get absorbed. It's such an easy trick.
Next, let's talk about nuts and seeds like almonds, walnuts, and chia seeds. Their secret is this awesome trio of healthy fats, protein, and fiber. Together, they literally put the brakes on digestion, which means a slower, steadier glucose release. Now, portion size is important here. A small handful is really all you need, and for a great tip, try making some overnight chia seed pudding. It's delicious and keeps you full and stable for hours.
Now, get ready for this one. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel have a glycemic index of 0. Yep, 0. That's because they're basically pure protein and healthy fats. And those omega-3s they're famous for, they are amazing at reducing inflammation and helping your insulin do its job more effectively.
Let's talk about staples like dal, chickpeas, and beans, legumes, and lentils. Now, they do have carbs, but here's the thing. They also have so much fiber and protein that it gives them a really low GI. They give you that slow, steady release of energy that just keeps you feeling full for hours. And a quick tip, try pairing them with a side of veggies to really max out that fiber benefit.
Okay, this is so important to understand. Not all carbs are created equal. How a food is processed can change everything. Just look at oats. Steel-cut oats, which are way less processed, have a nice low GI of 42. But instant oats, they have a whopping GI of 79. It's the same food, but the processing makes one a friend to your blood sugar and the other, not so much.
Are you craving something sweet? Berries are absolutely your best friend. They're one of the lowest sugar fruits you can find, and they are loaded with fiber and antioxidants. And hey, here's a pro tip that's also great for your wallet. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh ones, and you can get them all year round. Greek yogurt is fantastic, but there's one massive rule you have to follow. It has to be plain and unsweetened. The protein is great for slowing down sugar absorption, but those flavored versions, they are just packed with hidden sugars that will absolutely send your glucose soaring. So stick with plain and pair it with some of those berries we just talked about. It's a perfect combo. Just like fish, eggs are another zero GI hero. They're pure protein and healthy fat, with no carbs to worry about. You know, starting your day with eggs instead of something super carb-heavy like toast or cereal is one of the single most effective ways to prevent that morning glucose spike.
It just sets you up for a much more stable day.
Now this one might actually surprise you. It's just a simple spice. Cinnamon has these compounds that can help your cells use glucose more effectively. It's pretty amazing. Just a half a teaspoon a day in your coffee or sprinkled on your oatmeal can make a real difference. And if you can find it, look for Ceylon cinnamon. It's sometimes called true cinnamon, and it's the best kind.
And our final item, which is actually a liquid, is apple cider vinegar. The main component, acetic acid, can really slow down how your body digests starches. Think of this as a strategic tool. You take 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted in water right before a meal that you know is going to be higher in carbs. But please, please, please always dilute it. You have to protect your tooth enamel and your throat.
So, we've got our list of 10 amazing foods. But a list is just a list, right? How do we actually turn this into a lifestyle? Let's talk about how to build the perfect plate, a simple system you can use for every single meal.
This right here is your blueprint for a blood sugar-friendly meal. It's so simple. Just fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables. Think about all those leafy greens we talked about. Fill a quarter of it with a quality protein, like fish or dal, and then that final quarter is for a low-GI, high-fiber carb, like quinoa or brown rice. That's it.
You know, it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it that really matters. So here are 4 little rules that are total game changers. 1. Eat your protein and veggies before you touch your carbs. 2. Never eat a carbohydrate all by itself. Always pair it with a fat or a protein. 3. Try to eat your bigger meals earlier in the day. And 4. A short walk after you eat works like magic.
Okay, now we have to talk about a really important reality here. While all these principles work for most people, your body has its own unique rule book. So now it's time to become a detective and figure out how to unlock your own personal code.
This is the question that drives so many people crazy, right? You follow all the advice, you eat the quote-unquote right food, like oatmeal, but you get a totally different result than your friend. Why is that? Well, the answer is something called bio-individuality.
The truth is, your personal response to any food is influenced by everything: your sleep, your stress levels, even the unique bacteria in your gut. That's why the only way to know for sure what works for your body is to track your own data. When you start logging your food and looking at it next to your glucose readings, these powerful patterns start to emerge. And this is where modern tools can be a huge help. They can analyze all that data and find connections you might have missed, giving you a truly personalized roadmap.
So where do you begin? Look, don't try to change everything all at once. Just pick 2 or 3 foods from our list today that you already know you like. Make a simple swap, maybe white rice for quinoa. And then, this is the most important part, measure your glucose 2 hours later and just see what happened. Notice and celebrate those stable readings. This isn't about being perfect, it's about making progress. So my final question for you is, what's the first food you're going to test, and what new thing might you discover about your own body?